Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe 2 in Love, here with your AEW Dynamite review for August 9th, 2023 edition. Yesterday, or of course, whenever you get it, Wednesday, Dynamite was good, and we have more clarity and more matches as we get closer to Wembley, and All In happened in less than 3 weeks. It is building. The intensity of it is certainly building as we are en route to AEW's biggest show to date. At Wembley, All In, London. It's going to be fun, but more matches have been finalized, and it appears we're not done. Plus, also, now that... Here's the tricky part. With All Out being the following week, the question now is, it's like, okay, with All In being a week before All Out, with the card being almost finalized, how long is it going to be before we figure out more matches to All Out? That'll certainly be the trick, but All In, so far there's the buzz and the excitement is there. I mean, with some matches, which we'll get into in a sec, but yeah. So, my apologies, everyone. For whatever reason, finally was able to get them up posted last night. I'm not sure why, but just bad tech play, pretty much. But I was able to get my AEW Collision and SummerSlam reviews up posted yesterday or Wednesday night. I don't know what happened. I record my Collision review on Sunday and then SummerSlam on Monday, but I don't know what happened. My basically set for Collision, it was canceled and then I had to re-upload it. So, yeah, that slowed down the SummerSlam review, but last they were up, so they are available to check out on the channel now. Feel free to like, subscribe. But yeah, all the videos are up on there. But before we get into the review, gotta mention, so with the biggest feud seemingly right now in AEW, it's taken an interesting turn, we can pretty much say, with MJF, Adam Cole being the main event at Wembley for the AEW World Title. We got Roderick Strong in play. And we got the Kingdom, one of Adam Cole's former factions in Ring of Honor. So, I mean, the question is, how is this? So, they challenge on Dynamite. They challenge Aussie Open who are the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, for a match on 0 Hour for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Now, there's a lot of variables we mentioned. Roderick Strong, The Kingdom, Kyle O'Reilly possibly. We haven't seen him in for how long? So long. I mean, that into play, the contract. I mean, there's a lot of variables. Now, they challenged Aussie Open to a match on 0 Hour, which, it's a unique aspect because we're going to get these two twice in one night. Because 0 Hour is basically an hour before the main card. So, quite curious to see how they're going to go about this. And twice in one night, I mean, you're always worried because this is the main event. And to have these two guys wrestle on this same night before this match, it's a little dicey. But we'll see. This storyline has been great. Yeah, I'm very curious just how they go about this. But yeah, so Dynamite is good. Collision, I imagine we'll get some more truth, even more traction as far as all in and all out go. So, but yeah, they'll be fun. So let's get into review, shall we? Not waste too much time. So, we started out in the show with the Jericho Appreciation Society mandatory meeting. This was fun and good. I mean, everybody had their own little twists on the segment. So, this is good though. So, everyone, and we know the saga with Chris Jericho, Don Callis family, him being torn. Look, I mentioned before the Jericho Appreciation Society. They have great members, but the lack of direction for, it's like Menard and Parker, not including the tag team division, not including some bit into the trios. It's been a little. They just haven't done really anything with the JS, and really time for it to be an end. I mean, I liked it, but just how it is. So Menard introduced Jericho. He came out separate. Jericho started rattling off, and then Garcia interrupted him, talking about, he doesn't want to have to do this. I mean, that was kind of the focal point of few of the members. They didn't want to, but they feel like they have to. Say he loves being a sports entertainer. Talked about what he's given to Jericho, but he can't do it anymore. So basically, he did his little dance and then right in the face of Jericho and then walked off. So then, Jake Hager with no purple hat. So he talked about the history of him and Jericho, seeing all the memories they've given. Talked about the hat, saying he liked that hat, saying he's not going to just walk out on him, but, if this the end of them, then that's okay because they both have separate paths. Hence, Hager is a undefeated MMA fighter. So basically rolled off a little more and then left. So then Jericho tried talking to the ladies, TJ. He talked to Ty Conti or Ty Mello, saying, well, she been as big as she is associated with him. And she agrees, she's become bigger, so with him, but after hearing what he said and everything, she's sick. And it's not because of pregnancy or baby bump. She said it's been nothing but all about him, and that that she will go away, have her and Sammy's baby, come back next year and become a champion, all by herself, not because of him. She walked off. Anna Jay, she talked about because her championship match in the main event, again, women in the main event, which I'll get to in a sec, but Anna Jay talked about how she'll be selfish tonight, saying it's about her becoming the AEW Women's World Champion. Saying, and, she walked off. And then it was like, one after one after one. She got a nice pop. I mean, yeah. So then it was down to, okay. You look at the ring, it's like, okay. Parker, Menard, Sammy Guevara. So Parker got the mic, and I felt this is really when it hits. Like, it was really serious, honestly. Or definitely the heaviest it felt. Or when it started feeling heavy for me in this segment. So, like Garcia talked about being a sports entertainer, saying he loves what he's done. Associated in this group, saying, try to calm people down a bit, saying that he's hung from a cage, bloodied and battered, upside down for him, because of him, hence blood and guts last year in that gruesome spot. saying that he loves him, said he gives everything for him, but he says, he doesn't have, and he doesn't want to, but he's got nothing to give him anymore. So he left. And it's like, damn. So, Matt Menard got Daddy Magic, Matt Menard. He really got emotional. Talking about, well, how much he's admired and loved Jericho, saying he's one of his favorites. He's at his posters. And that he's given a lot to him. Hence, if you remember last year, a great promo after Blood and Guts, built a little behind the scenes, when Menard cut a great promo, emotional promo, talking about, well, he missed his son's first steps to be at Blood and Guts for the JAS, for Chris Jericho. And he got emotional, talking about, well, guys he grew up with, like Eddie Kingston, saying how they've grown to hate him. And he's understood why. Or how they can't stand him. And he understood why. And walked away. So then Jericho, you can tell, looked pissed. It was just him and Sammy Guevara. Two, mentor and pupil. Been there since the first Dynamite. And there they are in episode 201. So Jericho was like, get yourself out of the way. And then Sammy slapped the microphone out of his hand and said, I need you to listen for once. Saying how I'm not just going to walk out on you, been there for each other through thick and thin since the start of Dynamite. And saying how he's been there for Jericho many times. And called each other as friends. And saying that, right now it's not looking good, but, if things you change in the future, then maybe I'll be for you then. Be there for you then. As a friend. So Sammy, he didn't just walk out. He got out of the ring, but he went over the barricade and went through the crowd. So based on what he said, the door is still kind of open for Sammy Guevara. So, it's starring people. How it's been since the first ending of Dynamite, when the Inner Circle began. We'll see. But we did not see Callis. We did not see Dekeshka on Wednesday. I'm sure they'll have something to say for Jericho. And what is this lean towards to All In? Just because if I'm willing to bet, Jericho is probably not going to miss All In. He was the first world champion. We've been there since day one. Yeah, quite curious to see what he does. Something. It's a possibility. I'll just throw it out there. I already mentioned something possibly with Kenny Omega. Omega mentioned how, next week he'll have a sit down with JR to discuss his plans for his future and Don Callis and All In. We'll see. So they announced that there will be a 4-way women's title match at Wembley at All In. And now there will basically be a mini tournament to decide who will be the 4 participants in the women's title match at Wembley. So the winner of tonight's main event between Anna Jay and Shida will advance. The former champion Tony Storm, who I'm guessing is not who I'm so curious about, based on, because when she lost last week, one of the big topics that was brought up was a movie that she's going to participate in. And it's probably a reason why she gave up the strap. So she apparently will get a bye in this tournament. Which, again, the way AEW, they do tournaments, which I like. But the way they throw these impromptu, tournaments, together, it's a little off. But nonetheless, so Tony Storm, like I said, get a bye. She's in the match for Wembley. Saraya, who hasn't wrestled in quite a bit, will face off against Sky Blue on Rampage to determine the 4th or the 3rd participant. So we got that. And then finalize the outcome. We got Britt Baker versus the Bunny, of all people, next week. And yeah. So, yep, pretty much there. So you kind of have a feeling, and Soraya, from the UK, I mean, it certainly boasts those rumors of possibly Soraya winning the title in the UK. I mean, but I mean, it's certainly there. You don't need a 4-way match, but seriously, it feels like those reports about the drama about the women's locker room in AEW. The booking now has been head-turning, I'd say. But nonetheless, we got the 4-way women's match for Wembley. First match on the show was the Young Bucks versus the Hardys. This, I'd say, was good. Quite glad, obviously when the Hardys are now wrestling, I get worried. Simply because, look, forever be a fan of the Hardys for what they've done. However, I can't help but be worried now because of some of the stuff they've gone through, and I just get concerned. But this match is good. I was thrilled. And of course, you always wonder about Jeff as well, with the stuff he's gone through. But this was a good match with the Young Bucks. You knew with the challenge made by FTR that the Bucks were going to win this match, but this is good. So the Bucks countered Poetry in Motion. Nick hit a big punt in the corner, big kick, stifling Jeff. Then they hit Risky Business in the middle of the ring. Nick, when he gets a flurry, his offense is very good. So he had Tope over top. Both Matts had an exchange in the middle of the ring. Matt Hardy got the upper hand, hit a side effect, then got the big tag into Jeff. Jeff hit I'd say probably missed timing of Whisper in the Wind. Caught both Bucks on the way down, but ultimately led to a near fall. Bucks hit a super kick party, followed with a call it 3D by the Bucks on Jeff for a near fall. The Hardys, this was the closest they got in this match. So they had a double twist of fate, and then a swanton, and so Jeff had the cover. Matt was on the other side of the ring, cheering on, like he thought that was it. And then from out of nowhere, it gets broken up. So good stuff here. So Jeff hit a cutter, or a stunner, I should say. Matt countered out of it. Hit super kicks to both Matt and Jeff. So, but Jeff got the upper hand, went for the Whisper in the Wind again. But Matt had the wherewithal. He super kicked Jeff's leg off the top and caught his balance, and he landed back first on the mat. Matt went for a backslide but was rolled through and led to a BT trigger on Matt. Jeff was isolated in the corner, 1, 2, 3, and the Bucks get the victory over the Hardys. Afterwards, good to see, because that was a hard fall off top. Jeff. But it was good to see a good show of respect, and Jeff was on his feet. So, yeah, a good show of respect. Afterwards, Nick Jackson took the mic, chanted FTR. Their music played, and they came out to the ring, and this was fun. They stared each other down for a bit. Nick Jackson, damn it, Siri, not again. So Nick Jackson just blatantly said, all in. So it was announced, the graphic was put up, part 3. FTR versus the Bucks, the trilogy at Wembley. Gives you goosebumps, and again, people wondering, when is the third match gonna happen? When is the third match gonna happen? Well, now again, you don't know if the original plan was put the, trios match with Kenny and the Bucks versus CM but nonetheless, this is as great as a number 2 or plan B as it could get. I mean, what can you say? So then, speaking of Kenny Omega, he was shown in the back. Alex Marvez stopped him with a microphone and asked, so with the Bucks and FTR being finalized for Wembley, what does that leave for you? So he mentioned the match, said it'll be great. But he said, as for himself, he said, requested time to sit down with JR for next week, and that he'll go over Don Callis, Takeshita, his future, and what he'll be doing at All In at Wembley. So he mentioned Takeshita and Callis. So I mean, if it's up to me, look, I would want my first request or plan A would be the trilogy between Osprey and Omega. That'd be me. But now with the news about Aussie Open, I wonder if Osprey will make an end. It's possible he makes an appearance in all this. So there's that. Then there's, he mentioned Takeshita and Don Callis. So it is possible that we do Omega versus Takeshita at All In. I mean, that's a match that's been brewing for a while. I mean, it's like, Takeshita is the number one representation of Don Callis now. And the feud is obviously Omega versus Don Callis. Now, obviously there was blood and guts. However, Takeshita walked out. And same with Don Callis. So, we didn't really quite get that closure of that feud. So, it's totally possible we have that singles match at All In. Another possibility is maybe we get some sort of tag team match. Ospreay and Takeshita versus Omega and a partner of his choosing. Now, I don't want there to be too many tag team matches on the show. That's the thing, or too many multi-man matches. Because we already got, spoiler alert, 2 tag team matches announced for the show. So we'll see. At least on the main card. So we'll see. But next week, see what goes down. Next up, we had another hilarious vignette of MJF and Adam Cole hanging out. So Adam Cole was like, upon the news of their main event for All In, he's got a very special surprise for his best friend, MJF. So MJF recommended sort of an idea. He said a way for them to hang out is they go skinny dipping with a few rats. And Adam Cole was like, no, that's awful. But I got something that's even better. So they were outside a trampoline park. And MJF was like, what the? You know. So they're in this trampoline park and Adam Cole's like bounce up and down. I've been to trampoline parks. I haven't actually been in one. But should have to go. So anyway, so Cole was jumping up and down and MJF, you could tell, was pissed. He had his arms crossed. He was next to him. And Cole mentioned some of the events going on at the park, and he said, also include dodgeball. And MJF was like, dodgeball? He's like, well then, I'll be right back then. I may have some fun that year. So then, MJF, the prick he is. So, it showed him just willy-nilly, one by one, saying these remarks as he's throwing these dodgeballs. And they just whack these kids. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. So after a while, I think it was like 6 kids anyway. So Cole was like, Max, what are you doing? It's like, okay, that's enough. So then this little girl approaches him and he's like, What are you guys what are you guys doing? Why are you guys here? This for teenagers and younger. It's like you guys are like nerds. And then and so MJF was like pissed at this little kid or little girl. So Cole like held him back and then like told something and Cole or the girl said something to Cole. I don't remember, but nonetheless, Cole was pissed by this, and he told MJF, "Okay, one more." So MJF was like, "Boom!" So last thing we saw, he threw the ball at this poor little girl. And they cut to black. Ay ay ay! These two as a tandem, hilarious, hilarious. So we got a little promo backstage of Blackpool Combat Club ahead their tag team match with the Lucha Brothers later in the show. So they said, well, talked about Pac, saying, well, Pac is injured. If he is, that sucks. And saying he'll miss out on Wembley. And Wheeler Yuta was throwing dirt in the wound. You know, because, Pac from the UK, you know, I wonder if there was a plan for a trios match with Death Triangle versus the Blackpool Comic Cup. But Moxley plainly said, well, Claudio said, what do you expect to just come back after 6 months and then stab us in the back, saying it doesn't work like that and you reap the consequences. So Indian Moxley said, we don't fear death. Death fears us. Hence that triangle. So we got Jack Perry versus Raw Van Dam for the FTW title, FTW rules. So no countouts, no DQ. This was. It's been a minute since. I mean, I follow up when RVD was in Japan, in Impact, and, for a guy his age, he can still really move around. I mean, obviously, a step slower than in his prime, but it still moves smoothly in the ring in this match. So I wasn't too surprised at how well this match actually turned out with Jack Perry. And also, that shows you how far along Jack is slowly but surely coming along in his role. So, Jack ambushed Rob before the bell. No DQ, do what he wants. So, RVD, this obviously was nostalgic for me. Going back as, that big spot where his opponent is draped over the barricade. RVD does the RVD, chant, and then hits that big roundhouse off the apron to his opponent. So, yeah. So, Rob have the advantage. So, he brought a bunch of chairs in the ring. He used a basement drop kick with a chair in Perry's face. And then set up a chair on Perry. Hit a rolling thunder on Jack for a near fall. Again, for a 52-year-old, RVD certainly was very good. So, there's a table set up on the outside. They're exchanging on the top. Harry was shoved off the top through this table by RVD. And it looked more like Perry, just flung himself. But, nonetheless, get the gist. So, Jack got a chair. He flung it at RVD, but caught the ref. And ref was down. So you can tell some shenanigans were going to go. So RVD, he hit the 5-star frog splash. Still a beauty to see. He hit the 5-star on Jack in the middle of the ring. He had Jack covered for about a 7 count before Aubrey came flying in and counted for a near fall because she was a bit late. So now a referee. So Jack was quick to take advantage. He hit a low blow on RVD. There was a chair wedge in between the turnbuckles. Shoved him in that and then rolled up RVD for a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. And Jack retains the FTW title against RVD. Like I said, I watched RVD in Impact. I followed some of the clips of him in Japan. RVD can still move greatly for his age at 52. And I think he's shown he can add deeply, as a producer, as, something backstage. Certainly could help. Now, the question is, where does Jack's feud? Do we get Jack Perry for his hook again at All In? Certainly a question. Because we haven't seen Hook for a couple weeks now. And, another possible legend, maybe. I don't know. For Jack to vanquish. We'll see. Lucha Brothers were backstage with Renee Paquette. Talked about the BCC's promo from her. And Alex Abrahantes referenced the logo on his shirt, referencing the Death Triangle, saying now that's family. And Phoenix, it's definitely refreshing when you hear them speak decent English. It's definitely good to hear. It's a change up. So, anywho, Phoenix said they should change their name to the Blackpool Coward Club. So then Penta said, tonight they'll show why they're the best tag team in the universe. And Cero Miedo. So we got this promo of MJF and Adam Cole. Hilarious. So, oh jeez, what can you say? Get into it as much as I can. So, they were out there, and Adam Cole talked about their main event at All In. And he said, I'm going to beat you, right? Win that title, right? And MJF was like, oh, you want a promo battle? Is that it? So the Ats crowd tried to egg them on. And, MJF was going on this shtick, hilarious. So basically, he said, well, Cole, you're so skinny and so pasty white. If you were in the 80s, Hogan would have snorted you. And then he went up to the hard cam and he said, like, I'm Adam, can't comprehend Cole. Referencing his head injury. So Adam shouted at Cole or shouted at Max, I don't want to do a promo about. So he talked about losing to FTR for the AEW Tag Team titles. But reference how there's a pair of tag team titles that mean just as much to him. The Ring of Honor tag team titles. Saying how he owes his career to Ring of Honor. Saying how AEW and them probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ring of Honor. So basically, Godin, MJF was like, what? You want me to wrestle more than once on the same night? What are you, some like sick pervert? So MJF was like, okay. So he on the mic and said, Aussie Open at 0 hour. We're challenging you for the Ring of Honor. He said, sorry, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. So Roddy Strong came out, pissed, selling neck brace. He's like, I can't believe you want to team up with him over Ring of Honor legend and your real best friend. So MJF wants to come, a bland white boy saying, he wants them to do what he wants all of them to do. You know, he wants them to go back to your home, walk up the stairs, close the door, put your head on your Hello Kitty pillow, put on your headphones, and I quote, I'm guessing this one of her songs. I haven't heard Taylor Swift in a while. But he said, shake it up. So then they started chanting at Roddy. I mean, ay, ay, ay. So Roddy was getting emotional. He's like, you're going to let him talk to me like that? And Cole was looking conflicted. And then Strong was like, the kingdom was right about you. Forget about your real friends. So we saw the kingdom at Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. They were out there, consoling Roddy, hugging him, saying like, it's okay. This was fun. So Cole looked upset. He ended up shoving MJF. And obviously the crowd was like, ooh, on their seats. You can see MJF had that look in his eye of like, whoa. So Cole regretted. And then eventually MJF was like, apologized, said, go be with your boy. I understand. I'm sorry. So they hugged it out eventually. I mean, yeah. Hilarious. So then we got the Blackpool Comic Club, Moxley and Claudio against the Lucha Brothers. Good match between the teams. Again, you wonder where this is going to go, but in building the tag team division, presumably this match has been, these little feuds have been fun. So, picking up in the middle of the match, Penta hit a Made in Japan. Yuta interfered, hitting with a Ring of Honor title. And then Claudio hit a press into a cover by Mox for a near fall. They hit a spike pile driver for a 2. Penta, he got the offense back. Hit a big DT on Mox. And then there was an exchange between Claudio and Phoenix. Penta off the top, he was caught with a big uppercut by Claudio for a near fall. Then there was an exchange of chops between Mox and Penta. Seemed cool. Then Lucha Bros hit a spike pile driver on Moxley for a near fall. Then moonsault by Phoenix took out Will Yuta. Is exchanging with Alex Abrahantes on the outside. But back in the ring as Pento is going for the package pile driver on Moxley. Claudio took the mask off Penta. Moxley rolled up Penta 1, 2, 3, and BCC steal it here. For a while it seemed like they were repetitive with the mask, but lately not as much. So cool to see. Not as much. So yeah. Afterwards, Claudio actually put on Penta's mask as they beat down Penta and Phoenix. BCC stood tall. So yeah. Again, where does it lead? Not sure, but it's been fun. So yeah, Kenny Omega, I gotta have myself. He was asked in the back about Wembley by Marvez, and yeah, went down. Went through what I mentioned. So yeah. Swerve Strickland. He and the Mogul MC were out there and they called out Darby Allin. Darby said that he and AR Fox's story have been uh, messed up. He said that Fox has demons, but he eventually came to AEW on his own. That's why he left. And notice that he's got some new friends. Darby is like, I got some friends as well. Now the lights went out. Didn't need to, but next thing you know, the lights go back on. Sting's in the ring with a baseball bat, ambushes the Mogul Embassy, and eye to eye with Swerve, and gestured that poster of All in the back. Gestured for it, and a graphic was made. Swerve and AR Fox versus Sting and Darby in a tag team coffin match. Was made official for All In. So there you go. Sting on the show. Darby, Swerve. This, I imagine, is basically what Chris Cage probably meant by him dealing with Fox and Swerve before getting to the TNT title. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, yes, you're kind of open for Nick Wayne, but at the same time, what happened last week, smart. Darby and Sting at All In. The women main event, the show is second week in a row. Once again, amidst these reports and rumors about the chaos and the politics with the women AEW, I mean, interesting. But nonetheless, look, it's going to take a while. Just putting the women in main events, it's gonna be a while before people start thinking, okay, women's wrestling is treated better. It's gonna take building the division better. What? So the vibe to this match was but it was decent. You know, Jay's improving. I liked, and the commentators put this up. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker were out there with Jay. Despite what happened earlier with the JS, were there for her in this women's title match. Finish looked a bit iffy. So, they were on the top rope. And Jay locked in the Queen Slayer sleep roll. And Shida fell on her, and they both fell back into the ring. And Jay released the hold. So double down. But Shida won here. So she had Falcon Arrow for a near fall. And then not one but two Kitanas. That's a running knee for the win. So it looked like Parker, I don't know, got in the ring. Looked like he tried to help Jay kick out, or almost looked like he held her down. So, I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, a little odd. The finish. Anywho, so he retains in this ensemble of women's main events. So, yeah. Anywho, Dynamite was good. I'd say it was good as we gear closer to All In. Gonna be interesting to see, sit down with Omega, see what his match might be the last for All In. We'll see. Jericho, we'll see. But yeah, All In's looking pretty nice after tonight, I gotta say. And with the news now, All In's close to 80,000 tickets being sold. So, yeah. Well, see you guys anyways. See you guys Sunday for Collision. So, keep an eye out for that. But, thank you guys. Again, apologies for the slow uploads this week, but they're up now. Hopefully, my computer and stuff can get their act together. We'll see. But take care, guys. See you guys Sunday for Collision. Peace.